76ers reeling fans back in after beating the best team in the Eastern Conference. We're going to break it all down right here. Don't go anywhere. We'll have it on Locked On 76ers.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Locked On 76ers. I'm your host, Kayla Santiago, sideline reporter for the Delaware Bluecoats, the NBA G League affiliate of the Philadelphia 76ers. If you're watching us on YouTube or listening wherever you listen to podcasts, you can also get us now with a free daily newsletter that's on LockedOnDaily.com. Don't miss out on everything Philadelphia 76ers because, hey, maybe they're starting to heat up at the right time. They get a big win last night, and we're going to break it all down in just a moment. But first, from the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. Make sure you visit FanDuel.com today to get started. How about those Sixers, people, defeating the best team in the Eastern Conference in the Cleveland Cavaliers? This was a game, I will be upfront with you all the fans here that watch Locked On 76ers. I did not think there was any way Philadelphia pulls this out, but hey, I was dead wrong. They did. We're going to look at some of the numbers. So they defeat the Cavs 132-129. It got a little dicey there at the end, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, Paul George, really impressed with his performance, and this was his best performance as a Philadelphia 76er because he showed up when it mattered most. He looked terrible in that first half. Only 9 points in that first half. You even go as far back as the first quarter. Finished with 3 points, 1 for 5 from field goal range and 1 for 3 from three-point land. And then he finishes with 30 points in the contest, a Sixers high, and a huge reason why they were able to come out on top in this contest in the game against the Cavs. The Maxey right behind him as well. Another big game for Tyrese Maxey. And that duo showing what they can do. Maxey, 29 points in this contest alongside 7 assists. This was a true team game, and this is the best the 76ers have looked in a really long time. And I told you guys right here on Locked On 76ers not that long ago that if the game against the Bulls, they didn't show up and they didn't put an effort, then I'm saying, okay, the season is over. Shut Joel Embiid down. Maybe even shut Paul George down. What is the point? Now the 76ers are showing that they at least want to compete. Hey, maybe they listen to Locked On 76ers and they know they don't really have a chance to get to that number one pick to the teams that are worse than them. We're talking AKA the Washington Wizards that are not going to allow the 76ers to have less wins than them. So they just started to play some basketball. We'll see how it continues to end up, but this was a huge win for the Philadelphia 76ers. So Paul George, he has 30 points. We're going to start off with the positive things here for Philadelphia. Tyrese Maxey right behind him. We alluded to it already. 29 points as well. Eric Gordon, was anybody else getting flashbacks to when he could really play ball and hit it from downtown? Well, last night he was 4 for 4 from beyond as well. 15 total points. I mean, AG out there putting it up. EG3, you call him, and he was huge for the Philadelphia 76ers a night ago. Those were the positives for this team. And I want to hear from you all, who was the unsung hero in this game? Before I get to it, take a moment, think what you have to say, put it in the comment section, and let me know. I have the honor of covering the Delaware Bluecoats, which once again is the NBA G League affiliate of the Philadelphia 76ers. I've been able to see Justin Edwards play at that level, really be able to analyze that from a sideline and play-by-play point of view. I understand at Kentucky, he didn't have the best numbers, and at high school, though, he was a fantastic player, and he is showing that he can play some real basketball. Off the bench here tonight for the Philadelphia 76ers, 15 points along with 6 rebounds, 2 steals as well. He was huge last night in 26 minutes. He also hit a huge 3 down the stretch for Philadelphia. This is a really good ball player, and he is only 21 years old. So that makes you really excited for the Philadelphia 76ers. If they decide to keep him, they always trade their assets away. But Justin Edwards, to me, the unsung hero in this game. Of course, this game highlighted by Paul George, what he was able to do. 30 points was huge in that contest. And it looked like for the Philadelphia 76ers, they possibly didn't really have an opportunity to win this game early on with PG only having 9 points, but that was snapped away when he was able to have a big second half. So Paul George, you need to see more of that from him. This is exactly who the Sixers we're looking at to have throughout this season. He is the reason that they brought him in. They want to see playoff P. They don't want to see pandemic P no more, and he was playoff P last night. Paul George, 30 points while shooting 52% from the floor and 54% from three, the type of offensive performance that all the Sixers fans have really been waiting for. And when you look at this team, this is something that you absolutely need out of Paul George going forward. We'll see if they're able to keep it up against the Chicago Bulls, but a really big win for the Philadelphia 76ers. When we come back, we have to be realists here on Locked On 76ers. So we're going to touch on some things that were a little bit shaky down the stretch for this team. Don't go anywhere. We'll touch on that in just a moment. And we have to tell you all about FanDuel. If you're a sports bettor, you already know that FanDuel is the number one place to be. But if you're just getting into sports betting, FanDuel makes it really easy to figure out what you want to bet and why. There's such a great opportunity at America's number one sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Visit FanDuel.com today. You already know what game I'm going to talk about, people. It is Sunday. Another Philadelphia team, the Eagles, making it to the NFC Conference Championship against the Washington Commanders. I'm really excited for this one. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. You got Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts going at it. And this is perfect for an NFC Conference matchup, an NFC East rivalry already when you look at it between the Commanders and the Eagles. And now they're going at it to get to the biggest game right now. The Philadelphia Eagles are -6.5 favorites. And if you want to place that line right now, make sure you head over to FanDuel.com today. Those lines can change, so make sure you head over to FanDuel.com today if you want to place those bets. America's number one sportsbook. Be sure to visit FanDuel today to place all of your sports bets. There's no better place to do so than FanDuel. And of course, we have some fantastic sponsors here for Locked On 76ers. And it's not only just related to sports, but also everyday life can get extremely busy. I work in sports. The schedules can be crazy. They're the best thing ever. But sometimes you really want to take time to just go in and feel you as well. And therapy has been a game changer for that. And it can be for a lot of people that have a busy schedule, that are everywhere, that have kids, but don't have kids, or just trying to figure life out at whatever point of life you are at right now. It can help manage stress, improve sleep, and communicate more effectively. But finding the right therapist and fitting sessions into a busy schedule really can be a challenge. That's where Talkspace comes in. Talkspace, the leading virtual provider, makes getting the help you need easy, accessible, and affordable. That is absolutely huge when you're looking at somebody that maybe you don't have time to go in and talk in person and you want to do it a little bit more remotely. This is the perfect opportunity. With Talkspace, signing up is really simple, everybody. You can match with a licensed therapist who fits your needs, usually within 48 hours, and it's convenient. You can have sessions from the comfort of your home and even message your therapist between appointments. Plus, Talkspace is covered by many insurance plans, and for most insured members, there's a $0 copay. It has never been easier. Prioritize your mental health. As a listener of this podcast, you'll get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com/LockedOnNBA and enter promo code SPACE80 to match with a licensed therapist. Once again, that's LockedOnNBA for $80 off your first purchase. Make sure you use the code SPACE80 today to get that discount as well from us here at Locked On NBA. That is Talkspace once again. All right, so I know a lot of people after this win are going to be really excited and say, Kayla, what could you possibly say negative about this team? Why are you hating this, that, and the other? And people, I get it. I understand. We want to be all gung-ho for the Philadelphia 76ers, but they only have 16 wins at this point of the season, right? So how do you build? How do you go from here? And what I look at right now is late in the game, Paul George was under the basket. He missed it. He got his own rebound, moves out a little bit, has that 18-footer, right? And then he's double-teamed once again. And he's a little bit under the basket. The angle's really awkward, but he still decides to take it. Those shots cannot happen in a game. And we've seen it with Tyrese Maxey, and we've seen it with Paul George. The shot selection can get really dicey down the stretch, and that is dangerous. Everybody really had it going last night, and when you look at it, I just think Paul George and Tyrese Maxey need to be smarter with their shot selections down the stretch. Now, granted, it didn't hurt them last night, but it can hurt them going forward. In addition, this is something that Keith Pompey, my co-host, and I have talked about a ton. you guys remember last night when Kelly Oubre got the rebound, put it up, was right under the basket in the fourth quarter, put it up, couldn't get it, put it up, couldn't get it. And then what they do is they wave their arms and say, where's the foul? Where's the foul? And then all of a sudden, the Philadelphia 76ers get beat in transition defense. Transition defense has been something that has really, really hurt this team. They are one of the worst teams in the NBA in transition defense. But I'm tired of the Sixers standing under the basket and saying, where's the foul? And the other team is all the way down the court looking to get their shot up and come back into this game. Now, granted, for the Philadelphia 76ers, this is a game they were able to come out on top in, and that was huge. But at the same time, that is what you need to do better at going forward. And I understand, once again, they won. They came out on top, but the 76ers, lazy getting back in transition. This was late in the game. Ty Jerome hits a timely free that put him up at that point to 33 points. The Sixers only up by one at that point, 127-126 with 11 and a half left to go in the contest. But then he's also the one that threw it away when Franklin the dog was giving him the little old baseball trick, trying to psych him out a little bit, and it worked for the Philadelphia 76ers. So it was a big win. But what this showed me is that the 76ers are still willing to compete, because the conversation Keith Pompey and I had on Locked On 76ers a few days ago was the fact that it was really important to understand this team cannot tank. And the reason being is because if they want to tank and get that number one pick, they're not going to get it, because you look at teams under them. The Washington Wizards is a team you really point out. They want to tank. They want number one. They are not going to allow the Philadelphia 76ers to be below them. Even the Nets you look at as well, a team below the Philadelphia 76ers. So it is really important that the Sixers are starting to realize that they're not in a position really where they're going to be on top of the Eastern Conference. They're not in a position where they're at the dead bottom and are ready to tank and can lose the most games because teams below them are not going to allow that. That's the reality of the situation. So this team right now, I'm going to wait until after the Bills game when I can say it's time to shut everybody down. We don't know the status of Paul George yet, if he's going to play. It's a back-to-back, so it's not very likely. But what we do know is that the Philadelphia 76ers, they showed some effort. They were out there. They beat the best team in the Eastern Conference. Now, of course, the Cavs, a little down players as well, but so were the Philadelphia 76ers. They didn't have the big fella out there, and the 76ers come out with a big-time win last night, 132-129. Paul George, round of applause for you, because you had me in the first half. I thought, all right, here goes Paul George again, not stepping up to the plate. And then he finishes with 30 points and helped the Sixers come out on top, 132-129. Well, thank you all so much for tuning into this version of Locked On 76ers. We will catch you after the Bulls game as well. They play Chicago. That game is tonight at 8 p.m. in Chicago. So we'll see if the 76ers can get some more luck on those back-to-back wins. And we will see you next time right here on Locked On 76ers.